Okay, YouTube, now when we have our major Django project here set up, let's create individual projects. For example, you have a new client and client demands, let's say in this case, really simple website. Let's do that right here. So, is that command Django admin? Well, not directly. We're gonna use Python and this one, manage py, to achieve what we need. So, Python, manage py, don't forget extension, and startup. So when you're typing startup, please have that concatenated, because if you don't do that, if you do it like this, the thing will not work. And after that, just name of our site, our project. In this case, I'm just gonna type my site because I'm not creative this morning. And when we press enter, observe what will happen in the major Django directory. So enter. And now we have our my site folder created here. So is that folder empty? Let's see. No, it's not empty. So what that means? That means that Django did a lot of things for us here. Because when you're using web frameworks in general, that thing will prepare a lot of options for you, so you can develop on that typical common ground, let's say. For example, all those files, for example, admin, apps, models, and tests, they will serve you to develop really complicated services. For example, with database in background. For example, models. This is the file which is empty right now, pretty much. This is the file where you will outline how your database will look like in the future. And also, that thing is not hard-coded. So when you create database, when you create tables, you can change those things. So this is why we have these migrations here. So over time, for example, your big money-making website service demands some change, and you're gonna do that, and then you need to apply all kinds of migrations. But don't worry in a front. Everything is relatively simple after some time, and we're gonna explain everything. The most important thing here for us, because we are creating simple website, will be views file and yet another file, URLs py, that we're gonna create. So let's actually do that and explain what those files means. I already have that, I was practicing, so let's just create this file, which is in my site URL, in my site folder. So why do we need this many files for our simple website? So the assumption is, if you're gonna use web framework, that you are creating something big and you wanna slice your project into couple of area, when you wanna fix those regions or area of website or services as you need in the future. So we are not creating some hard-coded pure HTML website when you can apply some kind of script and do either automatic changes through all those pages, or you're gonna torture yourself with manual changes. So we need to structure our project in such a way that when we need to mess around with routes, we'll do that in URLs. When we need to mess around with function that we call specific pages, we're gonna do that in views. When we need to mess around with templates, we're gonna do that in specific folder. That's how you structure your big projects, because if you don't do that and you have, I don't know, 1000 pages with databases in the background, you will be overwhelmed. Okay, so these URLs, this file is for routing, not network routing, website kind of routing. When user hits your website for specific path, then there will be routes in this URLs file, and they will lead to somewhere, and that somewhere are functions, and those functions are defined into views. Okay, we're gonna do that, don't worry. So those functions will populate templates with data from database, or if you have hard-coded somewhere that data, then you will populate some templates with that hard-coded stuff. But this is really simple case. I mean, hard coding is not good. If you're gonna do big stuff, you're gonna do that with databases, basically. So URLs, routing, paths, views, specific simple functions which will populate empty holes in templates. So of course we will have one template, for example, and on that template all other pages will be based. But don't rush into conclusions. The thing is really easy after some time. Anyway, every time when you create new projects, you need to tell Django that you have done that, because Django doesn't know in future what kind of projects you will have, what they will look like, and so on. So, okay, we have my site project here for specific client. Let's say Django, let's tell Django that we have that project, because we must do that in the settings pie in overall Django root project. Okay, so go to my projects, in this case open a settings pie and just state name of that your project into installed apps. Okay, you have default Django stuff here, but you wanna also say my site or something else for every new project you're gonna work with. So that's the, I think that's pretty much cool for one tutorial. I don't want to go into over 10 minutes. Anyway, let's repeat once more. We are creating simple site. For that we will need URLs for routing, views for functions, template folder where we will put templates, HTML pages with holes in it that we need to fulfill with actual data, and we will also a little bit later create static folder for static stuff, CSS files, JavaScript, images, and so on. But don't rush too much in this, don't worry in front, because we will explain everything. Anyway, I'm gonna cancel this right now and render, and see you in next tutorial when we're gonna start our first web server, and you will see landing page and also admin panel. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut here and see you next tutorial.